If money makes the world go round, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia may well be the planet's pivot. It's the global leader in oil exports and a key US ally in the region. And that may explain why US President Donald Trump is unwilling to hold the kingdom's leadership accountable for the killing of Jamal Khashoggi.
Well, we'll have to do something, but I will say this. I spoke with the king, I spoke with the Crown Prince yesterday, and he strongly said that he had nothing to do with this. This was at a lower level.
Riyadh has used the petrodollars it earns to amass an enviable portfolio of assets all over the world. The Kingdom's Sovereign Wealth Fund has pledged more than $45 billion to the Japanese tech investor SoftBank. It's committed investments of up to $40 billion in the US private equity firm Blackstone. And it's poured billions of dollars into the United Arab Emirates, France, Russia, and other countries. Saudi royals and their companies have also invested heavily in international brands, sports teams, and even art. And some governments don't want to jeopardize this flow of oil and money. Pakistan's Prime Minister attended the Future Investment Initiative Summit in Riyadh despite voicing his concern over Khashoggi's killing. He returned to his country with a $6 billion aid package. And Spain's Prime Minister wants to keep selling arms to the kingdom.
Politics is the art of reconciling interests, which are often in contradiction. And today I ask this chamber to clearly discern those conflicting interests from what is in the interest of Spanish society.
But elsewhere, patience is wearing thin. Germany suspended the sale of weapons to Saudi Arabia, and other countries are also considering similar punitive measures.
In terms of future export permits, this incident will be taken into account about whether we wish to export a particular kit or services to KSA.
C'est un sujet plus global.
If the facts are proven, if our services corroborate them, we'll take appropriate sanctions against the Saudi authorities.
These governments say they'll wait until investments into Khashoggi's killing are concluded before pulling the plug on investments with Saudi. And that's building pressure on the kingdom to stop passing the buck. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
And Mobin joins me now in the studio. Hi, Mobin. So this is the first time we've heard from Mohammed bin Salman since Jamal Khashoggi was killed 3 weeks ago. And he's tried to pull focus away from that controversy and onto his so-called Vision 2030, where he wants to transform Saudi Arabia's oil-dependent economy. I'm wondering, do you get the sense that there's any momentum left behind his plans, that international investors still want to be a part of it?
Well, that's a great question. There's two parts to the buy-in that the Saudi government needs, right? They need domestic buy-in, and then they need the buy-in from international investors and the public at large. And of course, domestically, that buy-in may very much still be there to the extent that it was there among the quarters that it existed in the youth that make up the majority of the population there. But certainly a lot of question marks being raised over it simply because money alone won't cut it. When you're talking about reforming the economy, about opening it up, it entails having a diversity of opinion, having more sort of voices to dissidents. Those are the kind of people who create an entrepreneurial spirit in any economy, and that's what Saudi Arabia needs. And I think to that extent, yes, it would be fair to say that the plans have been hit.
Mm. And the organisers of this so-called the Davos in the Desert, this initiative forum in Riyadh, they've been eager to tout that around $50 billion worth of deals have been signed despite the boycotts that have been happening from various world leaders and business leaders. Tell us a bit more about those deals. Are they as significant as the organisers would have us believe?
Look, anytime you're signing deals worth $50 billion, yes, that's a lot of money, but let's just sort of examine what are these deals. They're mostly in oil and gas, mostly in infrastructure. These are things, many of them are things that are needed in order to keep that very large energy infrastructure in place, moving, so that the barrels of oil that the country's economy depends on so much can continue to flow. Beyond that, I don't really see any sort of new groundbreaking industry here. They aren't really investing in nanoparticles or in IT. let's face it, these are investments in and deals with companies like Halliburton, Schlumberger, Baker Hughes. Those are companies that the Saudis have been dealing with, doing what they do for the past few decades. So really nothing earth-shattering here.
So more of the same, really. And just really quickly, Mobin, the Crown Prince also said that he wants to transform the Middle East into a new Europe, I guess as a new centre of commerce, ideas and thinking. How realistic is that?
Look, coming back to what we were talking about earlier as well, Europe isn't just about higher standards or higher incomes. A higher standard of living for the entire population, again, entails certain freedoms. It entails transparency. And perhaps this case, this investigation that the Saudis say they are working closely with Turkey on, could be a test case in that if they are in fact able to prove to the world that they did carry out an independent and transparent investigation into this matter, then perhaps this could be a nice way of working towards that goal.
Very interesting. Okay, Mobin Nasir, thank you as always.